ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna. From today onwards, on regular basis, we are going to discuss on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, starting from its introduction up to the last chapter and last shloka of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is divine song sang by Bhagavan Sri Krishna and mentioned by Srimad Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasadeva, the universal teacher and the incarnation of Bhagavan in the great epic Sri Mahabharata. It constitutes 18 chapters of Bhishma Parva, starting from 25th to 42nd, 42 chapter of this vast epic Sri Mahabharata. Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna has given very valuable and fundamental instruction to his eternal associate and dear friend of him, Arjuna, for the benefit of all humankind in general, to help them to cross the ocean of material existence of repeated birth, death, disease, old age, and at last to attain his lotus feet, the desired success of human form of life. To enable deluded, conditioned soul like us to pass beyond the delusion of external material energy called Maya, he made his eternal associate Arjuna to become as if enchanted by that illusory energy called Maya, so that he would ask questions that correspond with various eligibilities of the deluded living entities. Bhagavan Sri Krishna then himself answered those questions, thereby dispelling all kind of doubts and defining the means by which all the living entities, entire living entities, can be systematically freed from the delusion of illusory energy of Bhagavan. Now, the question arises, who need Bhagavad Gita? Before answering the question, who need Bhagavad Gita, we should think, or we should understand who the audience were when Bhagavan Sri Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan Sri Krishna initially spoke Bhagavad Gita in two different time, in two different place, to different audience. Initially, Srimad Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Bhagavan Sri Krishna millions of years back in the Satya Yuga, even before starting of Satya Yuga, to Bhagavan Sri Surya Deva. Surya Deva was the first audience of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself gave this knowledge, imparted this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita to Surya Deva, and Surya Deva later on gave this knowledge, imparted this knowledge as he listened from Bhagavan Sri Krishna to Manu Maharaj. Manu, who is father of all mankind in general, because of that his name is Manu. So, the first audience of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in Satya Yuga was Surya, and second audience or that knowledge was imparted in parampara by Surya to Manu Maharaj. And on next occasion, at the time of Mahabharata, just before the war started, just before the battle started, Bhagavan Sri Krishna Swayam imparted the same knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Who is Arjuna? Arjuna is a king. Arjuna is Parth, is friend of Krishna. Arjuna is a grihastha with 5 wives, and Arjuna, among his different names like Dhananjaya, Arjuna, Kaunteya, etc. One name is Dhananjaya, means who wins the wealth of the world, or who control the wealth of the world. His name was he was named as a Dhananjaya because on behalf of his elder brother Yudhishthir, he was going all around the globe fighting with each and every king, those who don't surrender to him, and he won the wealth of the world and handed over to his brother to complete Rajasuya Yagya. So, because of that, his name was Dhananjaya. So, in the beginning of the creation, first listener was Surya and then Manu. Now, in the age of the Dwapara Yuga, when Mahabharata was there, the fight between, the clashes between dharma and adharma was going on. Just before the battle started, everybody blew their corns, and it was already in the position to attack everything, attack one another. At that time, Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna again imparted this divine knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And this time also the second audience was Dhritarashtra, who is king in himself, who was not that pious also, in one sense didn't have that eligibility as we think nowadays, which we need to study Bhagavad Gita. Actually, Dharma was fighting against him. Dharma Raja Yudhishthir was fighting against Dhritarashtra. That means Dhritarashtra was in side of irreligion, adharma. And second Srota, or the second audience of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, was Dhritarashtra. So, I think this answers our question perfectly. Who could be the audience for Srimad Bhagavad Gita? Everyone, anyone can be the audience of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The general understanding of the people, of the mass, of the society nowadays is that Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a holy book of Hindu religion, or the book for Hindus, or the book for them, those who have faith in Hinduism, or in general public also have that feeling. This Srimad Bhagavad Gita is an armchair book. Armchair book means when we get old, in the age of retirement, when we can do nothing or we have nothing to do, then putting our arms in the chair, reading some books to pass the time. So, in general, people, they think Bhagavad Gita is the book, is an armchair book for the retirement years, or we also have that misconception that Bhagavad Gita is an ancient mythological book or a scriptural book, Hindu scriptural book, full of philosophical complexities. This misconception is actually prevailing all around. Most of the youngsters, especially nowadays, after listening Bhagavad Gita, the first thing that comes in their mind is an Hindu mythological book or an armchair book for the old age people. That is a misconception which should be eradicated from our mind. All these opinions which are prevailing all around nowadays makes the Gita more or less outdated in modern context. In the context of space technology, people feel this Bhagavad Gita as outdated nowadays. But by learning from the authorized source, one can understand that Srimad Bhagavad Gita is much more than this basic concept which is prevailing around. More than concept, we can call it misconcept. Actually, this Bhagavad Gita is a guidebook to lead an enjoyable and blissful and successful and a happy life. In other words, it is a user manual to lead a meaningful life. When we get any gadgets, we get a manual to use that gadget properly. So, when we got this form of human life, this body of human life, a manual to use this and to get the optimum benefit of this, or to have that blissful life or meaningful life in this human form. This is Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a user manual. Bhagavan Sri Krishna imparted this knowledge to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna was in a distressful condition, when he was in the bewildered situation, when he was not able to take the decision, when he was in frustrated condition, when he was in depressed condition. So, when he was in dilemma of what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong, upon receiving this knowledge, Arjuna then recovered from that stage and returned to his happy and stable position. So, all of us in this life, we undergo all kind of difficult situations, all kind of difficulties, distressful situation, stressful and cunning situations, and dilemma, and different types of situations. All of us undergo difficult situations in life and often become overwhelmed by those situations, not knowing where to find solution. Bhagavad Gita guides us out of such delusions and reestablishes our original position of eternity, knowledge and that bliss. If we follow the instruction as given by Bhagavan Sri Krishna, then we will be able to attain the same blissful state as Arjuna did, same happy state as Arjuna did, same state of knowledge as Arjuna did, and same firm determination as Arjuna did. Now, then the question comes, okay, it is for everyone, audience can be everyone, Gita is for everyone, but how relevant is it in this modern times of space age technology? How can this Gita be relevant? The Gita which was spoken by Bhagavan Sri Krishna in Mahabharata, which is almost 5200 years back, after 5200, 5300 years later, how is it relevant in these modern times? This is the question that comes in the mind of in general people. Now, we have to understand everyone in this world, everybody in this world wants to be happy, wants blissful life, wants prosperous life, and everyone in this world is constantly searching for the happiness, whether a child or an old man or a Nepali, Indian, American, European, whoever it may be, Hindu or Christian, man or woman, everyone is looking for that bliss, that happiness, that prosper life, that successful life, that satisfied life. But unfortunately, for the want of real knowledge of happiness, they are searching for it everywhere and getting frustrated because of not finding the real answer or the knowledge of happy life, blissful life. Bhagavad Gita shows us where that happiness actually lies, where that happiness actually is. Just like when we purchase any new gadget, a user manual comes with it. The manual which teaches us how to make the best use of that gadget, how to get that optimum benefit from the gadget, and how to utilize to getting that topmost result and derive the maximum benefit or the maximum happiness out of that gadget. For the want of proper knowledge, we may invent our own ways of using it, but finally we will become frustrated. So Bhagavad Gita is manual given by Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, which guides us in making the best use of this human life and to derive real happiness from this human form of life. In the modern times, when people are more confused, more bewildered and misdirected, the Gita becomes all the more and more relevant for the individual as well as the society at large in bringing back the stability and happiness and success in the life. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, also known as Gitopanishad, it is in fact the essence of all Vedic knowledge and the most significant Upanishad in Vedic literatures. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita itself, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. This is Rajavidya and Param Gopaniya knowledge, which means it is a king of all knowledge, and also a Param Gopaniya. Rajaguhyam means hidden treasure among all the division of knowledge. There are 14 division of knowledge as mentioned or as revealed in Vedic scriptures are 4 Ved and 6 Vedanga and 4 Upanga. So among all these, this is the Rajavidya, the king among all knowledge. And Padma Purana mentions Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dogdam Gita Mritam Mahat. Sarvopanishado Gavo, all Upanishad, the part of Veda, the chapters of Veda or Ved Upanishad are to the part different Upanishad mix of Ved. So Sarvopanishado Gavo, all Upanishad are like cows. Sarvopanishado Gavo, Sarvopanishado Gavo, Dogda Gopala Nandana, and the milking, who is milking it? Dogda Gopala Nandana. Bhagavan Sri Krishna Gopala Nandan is milking this cow. Partho Vatsaha means Partho Vatsa means now to milking we need calf, and that calf is Vatsa. Partho Arjun Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Hat, and Gitamrit Dugdha, and that milk is Gitamrit, the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. So there are 14 divisions of knowledge, 4 Veda, Rig, Sham, Yajur, Atharva, and there are Vedanga, Shiksha, Chanda, Nirukta, Kalpa, Jyotish, Vyakaran, and there are Upanga containing Mimamsa, Vedanta, and then Itihas Puran, which consist of Mahabharata, Ramayana, including all 18 Purana and Upapuran. Then comes Niti, Nyaya, Dharma Shastra, Artha Shastra. All these are 14 different division of knowledge, division of source of 14 source of Vidya knowledge. And in fact, Vidyalaya can be called to those institutions who impart knowledge from these 14 Vedic source of knowledge. Studies anything except outside of this 14 source of knowledge is avidya in reality. So, the essence of the cow is milk, same like that. Sarvopanishado, the essence of all Upanishad and all Vedic literatures is Gita-Upanishad, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, Padma Puran mentions Gita as a essence. Gita is a essence in many scriptures. Example of mango tree and its fruit is given. For whole tree, the essence is fruit. If we think, okay, there is a big giant mango tree with leaves and branches and flowers, roots, stem and everything, but the taste, but the sweetness, but that mellow, but that sweetness of whole mango tree can be tasted in mango fruit. Now that after tasting the sweetness of mango fruit, if somebody thinks, oh, the fruit in its the mango fruit in itself is so sweet, the leaf by which the photosynthesis process happened in that leaf, and that leaf is preparing this fruit, and the remnant of that food cooked by tree for nourishing itself is stored as a fruit, is so sweet, then how the whole tree would be? If somebody thinks that way and try to taste the branch, taste the leaf, try to taste the stem or the root, that sweetness cannot be tasted. We cannot enjoy that sweetness of mango. Similarly, whole Vedic scriptures is a giant tree and Gita-Upanishad is fruit of this tree, essence of this tree. So, those who want to taste the sweetness, those who want to enjoy that essence of Vedic literatures, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is that source, is that fruit, is that essence for those seekers. Those who constantly study Srimad Bhagavad Gita with faith under the shelter of a spiritual master, under the shelter of saintly persons, sadhu and Vaishnavas, will be able to ascertain its true import easily. To understand the actual conclusion of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and to philosophically deliberate upon them, one must take shelter of the instruction of previous acharyas in proper parampara, in proper disciplic succession, and follow those instructions based on that disciplic succession. One will then be able to perceive and realize the inner intention or the inner meaning of that deep meaning of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. A subject becomes easy to understand if the author himself gives an explanation or commentary. Otherwise, one's own understanding of the subject will naturally be tainted by our four defects. This human form of life have four defects. We are conditioned with four major defects of making error, being in illusion, imperfect senses, sensual perception and deception. So, consequently, one cannot possibly understand the real meaning or the intention of the Gita unless one takes shelter of the realized truth imparted by the sages who knows past, present and future, and the previous acharyas within the disciplic succession, who are devoid of such four faults or four defects of human form of life. There is no other way to understand the real meaning of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We can take an example of a student trying to get a degree in medical science and become doctor. Any student who wants to be a proper medical practitioner should undergo the process of getting admitted in university, learning under the guidance of professors and practicing under the previously trained practitioners, and should be certified by any institution. Then only a person who undergo this process of getting guidance through authorized institution, authorized professors and the previous practitioners who successfully practiced this medical science things and got success already and have gained that trust already. If we go undergo this system of taking guidance, then a person or a student can become authorized and a well medical practitioner. He will be then certified by the institution after seeing his performance and taking examination, examining him properly, will be certified with the certificate. He will get that proper understanding, proper mood, proper values, proper skills and can give the proper result. Similarly, the guidance is needed to understand any scriptures. As a result of studying Srimad Bhagavad Gita with faith, under the shelter of spiritual master, under the shelter of saintly persons, under the shelter of Vaishnavas, they will transcend the ocean of material existence and attain the transcendental devotion to the lotus feet of absolute beauty, the cowherd boy of Sri Brajabhumi. In this way, a person will become eligible to attain pure love for Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Of this, there is not even a slightest doubt, as Padma Puran mentions, Bharata Amrita Sarvaswam Vishnur Vaktra Dvini Sritam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punar Janmana Vidyate. By drinking the Ganges water of Gita, the divine essence of the Mahabharata emanating from the holy lotus mouth of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, one will never take rebirth in the material world again. In other words, by devotionally reciting the Bhagavad Gita, studying the Bhagavad Gita, the cycle of birth and death is terminated. Gita Shastram idam punyam ya pathet prayatah puman Vishnoho padamavapnoti bhaya shokadi varjita. One who with a regulated mind studies with devotion this Srimad Bhagavad Gita, this scripture, which is bestower of all virtue, will attain to a holy abode such as Vaikuntha, will attain the Vaikuntha Loka, the Loka of Bhagavan Sri Vishnu, the residence of Lord Vishnu, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation. Baraha Puran supports the same statement of Padma Puran and mentions Gitartham dhyayate nityam kritva karmani bhurishaha jivan muktah savigyeyo dehante paramam padam. And furthermore, Padma Puran establishes the supremacy of Srimad Bhagavad Gita by saying Gita Sugita Kartabhya Kimanyai Shastra Vistarai या स्वयं padmanavasya mukha padmadvinih srita. And Adya Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya translate this sloka as, because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the supreme personality of Godhead, one need not read any Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities that is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. But it is not easy, task also to read all the Vedic literatures, because millions of slok, millions of hymns are there in all together in Vedic literatures. So this one book, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, will suffice, because this is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who is supreme personality of Godhead, who is absolute in beauty, absolute in knowledge, absolute in personality. Nowadays, we have seen, we can observe that the great thinkers and venerated gentlemen revere Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Members of all disciplic lineage, all sampradayas, including all yogic, tantric, Shivite, Vaishnava, like Shankaracharya, Patanjali, Madhva Parampara, Nimmarka Parampara, Sri Parampara, etc. All of them, they honored Gita and show great honor to Gita and faith, and accepts this Srimad Bhagavad Gita as authority. Even many celebrated scientists, politicians have shown faith in this monarch of all book, and philosophers from all around the world, all countries of the world have lauded it profusely. Celebrated scientist Sir Albert Einstein says, when I read the Bhagavad Gita and reflect about how God created this universe, everything else in this world seems so superfluous. Similarly, A. Huxley, the English writer, mentions the most systematic statement of spiritual evolution of enduring value to mankind. He too felt Gita to be one of the most clear and comprehensive summaries of perennial philosophy ever revealed. Hence, its enduring value is subjected not only to Hindus but to all of humanity. Similarly, J. Robert, an American physicist and director of the Manhattan Project, learned Sanskrit in 1933 and read the Bhagavad Gita in the original form, citing it later as one of the most influential books to shape his philosophy in his life. He later recalled that while witnessing the explosion of the Trinity nuclear test, he thought of verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, 12th slok, Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yuga Paduttita Yadi Bhasadrishi Sa Syad Bhasastasya Mahatmanha. This slok he actually recalls. Henry David wrote, in the morning I bathe my intellect in the spontaneous and cosmozonal philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita, in comparison with which our modern world and its literature seems puny and tribal. Similarly, Sunita Williams, she is also an American astronaut who holds the record for longest single space flight by a woman, and she carried a copy of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad with her to space. And she told those are spiritual things to reflect upon yourself, life, world around you, and see things other way. I thought it was quite appropriate while talking about her time in space. Rudolf Steiner once mentioned, if we want to approach such a creation as sublime as Bhagavad Gita with full understanding, it is necessary for us to attune our souls to it. And E. Sridharan mentioned, you see, spirituality has no religion's overtones. The essence of spirituality is to make a person pure in his mind and his thoughts. When I started reading our old scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita, I found it was useful for day-to-day life. So I started practicing it. I consider it an administrative gospel, one that will help you in doing things like running an organization. Although being a Muslim, despite being from different faiths, Abdul Kalam, 11th President of India, he being a Muslim, despite of being a Muslim, used to read Bhagavad Gita and recite the mantras from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We have seen in his many talks, he speaks about Bhagavad Gita, and recently Hollywood actor William Smith said, I am 90% through the Bhagavad Gita and my inner Arjuna is being challenged. That's what he feels after reading Bhagavad Gita. After studying Bhagavad Gita, he says that his inner Arjuna is being challenged. So, what the basic point I am trying to establish here is, we have seen that most of the scientists, most of the famous personalities around, and most of the people around, those who are actually celebrated as celebrity, are actually reading Bhagavad Gita, and they are so glorifying Bhagavad Gita. From this we can see the importance of Bhagavad Gita, or the validity of Bhagavad Gita, or the relevance of Bhagavad Gita is as it was, is intact as it was in those days of Mahabharata. So, Bhagavad Gita, basically Bhagavad Gita is king of all knowledge. Bhagavad Gita is for entire mankind to have a blissful, successful and happy life. Bhagavad Gita is for all to get rid of delusions and illusions in the life, and Bhagavad Gita is to uplift us from this material existence and help us to attain the desired success of life, the love of Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra. Hare Krishna.